Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. For today's video, I wanted to share with you guys some updated analysis talking about the big picture of Bitcoin and basically analyzing this big correction that we've been in throughout 2021. A lot of people are really on the fence deciding what they should do with their money, whether they should sell now while they're still in profit because they think that there's going to be a bigger dip coming, or whether they should continue to hold and, if anything, buy more awaiting for the final rally of the cycle. You guys already know that I firmly believe we're going to see one more big impulse to close out this cycle. And for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys all of the charts and reasonings as to exactly why and how it's going to happen. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more updates. Always remember to click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos like the one provided for you here. And make sure you guys sign up and join the Discord server or download my free ebook. If you guys want to join my community or follow along with my study guide, links are going to be provided for you in the description for that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, so to start off this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about this correction that we're in. I want to talk a little bit about the 4-year cycle timeframes, summarize some thoughts and perspectives because there's been a lot of people that have been pretty shaken out by this recent sell-off that we've seen here. And there is a reason, you know, obviously when you have a 40% correction and really probably closer to 45% correction, those are some of the deeper corrections that we've ever seen inside of a bull market. And so it's not, you know, unheard of that we're going to see so many people that are starting to flip bearish. It's to be what's expected, but I still firmly believe that this is ultimately going to take us to more continuation. Now, I drew this basic chart. This doesn't really mean a whole lot because we're going to actually get into some of these other ones, but it's pretty much summarizing what I think is playing out to some extent. We do have this trend line. We just retested this trend line with this most recent sell-off back down to 40K. That was another level that I was personally watching for, was 40K right here. It's acted as resistance a bunch of different times throughout this period. All throughout here, it acted as support, and this is us actually retesting that level once again, and we're once again sitting above support. So as long as this holds, I don't really think that there's any reason to be too shaken out. The big 40K level's been my area of demand for a while, but it's been what I've been personally watching for. I thought that if we broke below this, it would show some short-term weakness. But the thing about this current consolidation that we're in is it's important to understand why it's so choppy and why it's so volatile. And one of the best bits of analysis that I think I can give to you guys is actually from an analyst that I look up to a lot. His name's Credible Crypto. You guys should go ahead and follow him. And I really like this analyst. I've been following him since all the way back in the middle of the bear market in 2018. When I started learning more about Elliott waves, I followed him to learn more. And what's interesting to me is how this analyst, he's actually been calling for this 3 and 4 wave correction inside of this type of triangle. He's been calling for that since all the way back here, potentially even early 2020. It was a long time, way before we were even past $20,000 that I remember him talking about this potential. And so now that it's actually played out like that, I think it's an important time to revisit his analysis and talk about a little bit of what we're seeing here. Now, from this update, Bitcoin dropped a little bit lower. We did kind of end up finishing what he drew out. We didn't go quite as low, but nonetheless, he already showed that this was going to be going for one more low, which we did get. Now, what he was showing here is that we finished wave 1, we got our wave 2 correction. Wave 3 was this big run up to 65K. And then what we've been in ever since is this wave 4 correction, right? And in wave 4s, you're oftentimes going to see a triangle. Wave 4s are the type of trend. Inside of a wave 4, that's going to be on average the biggest, the most hyped, the most monies to be made inside of wave 3. And that's why it's generally the biggest wave. And that's why we see this one go much bigger than this first one. Now, inside of wave 4, you're going to see these triangle type corrections. And we actually have a pretty good example of a crypto that did this even just in the last cycle. And if we come and look at Ethereum, let's come all the way back here and take a look at what happened inside of its 4 wave. So Ethereum did almost this exact same thing. We made an ascending triangle here inside of the price structure for Ethereum. But once again, this was happening in wave 3 and 4. And if we come down here, this would have been wave 1 from 40 cents to $23 back to $6. That was our finish 1 wave. And then this was wave 3, all the way up from $6 to $450. Wave 4 is the triangle, right? We get the top, we rally back down, we make another attempt at breakout, get stuffed, another sell-off, and then we pretty much just go sideways before we get our final rally of that cycle. And this is, once again, wave 3, wave 4, and then this is wave 5. The same thing that we're seeing today inside of Bitcoin. The price structure looks a little bit different, but nonetheless, both of these triangles are pretty much being completed inside of this 4-wave structure. And that's what gives me a lot of confidence, that tells me that the bull run isn't over, because inside of this wave 4, it can be very volatile. And we're seeing that, right now. If we look at the last, pretty much the last year of consolidation, it's been very, very volatile. We have an upper resistance, and depending on how you draw this, whether you draw this as a support like this, it doesn't really matter. We can see that we got our cycle top here. We had a 65% correction. We rallied all the way back up, technically made a new all-time high, and then we've had this other 45% pullback. And so we've had these massive swings that are taking place inside of this consolidation, and it's way more volatile than we've ever seen a Bitcoin cycle. And so I really do understand why so many people are confused as what to do, why so many people are starting to flip bearish, and it's because this is designed to be shaking us out. A lot of people are calling that this is going to be a double top. I don't think so, just because we've only finished wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. We haven't even technically finished wave 4 yet. We're just barely at that point where we could be at the very low of wave 4 inside of Bitcoin right now. If this is the low, then that would be the low of wave 4. And another bit of information that I was actually talking about was actually the Elliott wave structure. And this is what is called a flat correction. So inside of an uptrend, you're going to see this specific type of consolidation pattern that is created, and it's what's known as a flat. So inside of a flat consolidation, what you're going to see here is you have the rally up, and then you see an ABC down, an ABC back up, followed by another 5 impulses down. And it's called a 3-3-5 correction, right? And if we come over here to Bitcoin, we can see that was the case inside of this correction. We had our ABC back down, we saw an ABC back up, and then we've seen 5 impulse waves that followed after that ABC back up. And so where I think we're at is actually the completion of this Elliott wave correction. I think that we're already at the end. Assuming that this is actually a flat correction, we would see the bottom of this wave 5 as our support low, and then we would get continuation from that point. This is the same type of correction that we're seeing today. There's really not much of a difference here. No matter what way you draw it, it pretty much looks like this, where we get this B wave that just goes temporarily above the very beginning of this correction, and that's pretty much what we've seen up to this point inside of Bitcoin. Just barely peaked above the top of that cycle of the correction, and then we've seen 5 impulse waves back down. And so this is following pretty closely to a flat correction. I don't think that you could look at this as another way. I mean, it is the potential that this is actually an expanding flat correction. But no matter what, in my opinion, it's either a flat or it's an expanding flat. It's one of the two. Now, if this was actually an expanding flat correction, inside of an expanding flat, you're going to see an ABC down, an ABC up, and then you're going to see 5 impulse waves. But that 5th impulse wave is actually going to take you below this support, right? So if we draw a line, that final 5 is actually going to take us below. And so not only do we get this peak above the beginning of our correction, but if this was actually an expanded flat, this wave 5 would take us below support, and we'd end up bottoming something like that, right? That's what an expanded flat correction would look like. I don't think that that's going to be the thing that we're in by any means. I expect support to hold at this 40K level. I've been very adamant about that. If that level becomes resistance, I think that shows a lot more weakness inside of crypto than anything. And so we would expect to see that the support is actually going to hold where we're at, ultimately completing, a flat correction, right? And so this is kind of what I'm watching out for with Bitcoin. Not a whole lot changes. The big thing I want you guys to remember is just simply that we're in a big picture triangle correction. What ultimately will be provided after the end of this is our final 5-wave impulse. And so no matter what way I look at the chart, I just simply can't help but feel the bull run is just not over by any means. We've only ever finished a wave 1, a wave 3, and we're not even finished with wave 4 yet, and that's what's going to be coming next. And so I firmly believe that we will see, our final rally of this cycle that will be taking place. Do I think that it'll be vastly different because of the fact, we didn't follow the end of the year cycle top like I talked about? And that's actually another really important talking point that we should probably get into right now. So with the 4-year cycle time frames, so obviously where I was talking to you guys about where we would be taking profits was the end of the year. So right here, we're obviously below the all-time highs. It's the end of the year. And what I told you guys all the way back at the early November, even just late September, even just late October, what I told you guys about was when Bitcoin was first breaking out and we were about to make a new all-time high over here, I said that if Bitcoin, for whatever reason, we get to the end of the year and Bitcoin is either right at the all-time highs or even below the all-time highs, right within the previous market structure, I told you guys that I was going to be willing to hold through that period, even though it was going against my 4-year cycle timeframes. And the reason why is simply because, once again, we've only finished 1 wave, 3 wave, and we still need a 5 wave before this entire move is done. And so I still have a lot of confidence being able to hold, even though we have deviated slightly from the 4-year cycle timeframes. I have confidence to continue to hold through that, expecting one more move, simply because the Elliott waves show that we're missing a 5-wave impulse. If we don't get a 5-wave impulse and this is the beginning of the bear market, that would pretty much just be, you know, the first time in history Bitcoin never made a blow off top. And I don't find that that's going to be the case in the first cycle that we have institutions. We didn't get institutional involvement until right here at the top of the last cycle. They shorted the top, they longed the bottom, and they accumulated throughout this entire period of time here. It wasn't until we started breaking all-time highs that, in my opinion, some of those people started to actually take profits. But the majority, I don't think, are going to be taking profits until we get up into this final rally of the cycle. This is a long period of consolidation that we're in right now. This is a long consolidation pattern, a very big triangle that's forming. And I do believe that the longer that this is taking to form isn't so much a bad thing. It's not anything to be scared of. I just think that it's ultimately going to create a much bigger move on the upside, right? And that's why I actually have a lot more confidence in seeing this type of corrective structure. I do think it's going to lead for one more big rally, and it's actually going to be a bigger rally than most people expect because of the sheer length of time it's taken to get to the point of breaking out. We're still not even there yet. We haven't even got to the point of finding support. Maybe support is in where we're at, but it's not any sort of true confirmation and know yet. And so all I'm going to be able to do is keep you guys updated. I still firmly, I'm going to stick to my plan, holding. I still think that we're going to get one more rally. I wanted to give you guys that update, just a way to simplify some of your thoughts, questions, concerns. I know that right now is a very volatile time in the market, and I am seeing a lot of people starting to flip their bias. What I did notice was people that were bullish throughout this entire period, even in the 65% correction back down, they were bullish. They were bullish throughout this entire period back up to new all-time highs. But it wasn't until the final sell-off, really the last month of price action, that these people that were bullish throughout this entire period of time have now started to flip bearish. And I don't know exactly what that is. I think partially maybe because Blockchain Backer called for the cycle top and it played out very close to how he had it drawn. And so I think people just assume that he's going to be proven right. I don't know exactly what it is, but I still think that we will see, this breakout into one more final move. So I'm going to hold, take it or leave it. This is just my opinion. This is what I'm going to personally be doing with my money. I just wanted to basically give you guys this update. I tried to live stream yesterday, tried to also just upload. Live stream wasn't working, then tried to just upload to YouTube. YouTube wasn't working. I didn't have enough connection, so I just ended up not doing it at all. Basically just making today's video about what I was going to talk about yesterday. So if you guys found value in this, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos. If you guys want to join the Discord server, download my free ebook. Links are in the description for that. If you guys want to sign up for my VIP, follow the trades that I take, all of that fun stuff, you guys can also find links in the description to my website. Thank you all so much for supporting. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.